Hi everyone, I'm here with John Bernard, a founder and CEO of AirOasis, and I wanted to talk to him very briefly on a couple of concerns that often come up in the search community with respect to the iAdaptAir purifier.
The first is talk about ionization. So there's two basic types of ionization you'll find in air purifiers. One is a negative ionizer, and then what ours has is a cold plasma or bipolar ionization, however you want to say. And so the typical air purifier will have just a negative ionizer, and it usually using stainless steel needles to produce negative ions. The downside to that, or the side effects, is that negative ionization create a static charge in the air, and that static charge can actually give that same static charge to any of the particles floating around, which makes it more likely that they actually cling to your esophagus and your lungs, which actually makes them a hazard. And then also, if you have an air purifier with a negative ionizer next to a wall, it can actually create what they call black wall syndrome because it gets that same negative static charge to the wall, so all the particles cling to the wall. So you obviously don't want that. And if they have too strong the negative ionizer, it itself can actually produce ozone. So the difference with ours is it has a bipolar ionization. So you're taking water vapor in there. So, it's just hydrogen and oxygen available on forms of water. So when you have a positive pole and a negative pole in the bipolar ionization, it actually breaks up that H2O into positive hydrogen and negative oxygen. So now you have a nice balance of ions, positive and negative. So you don't have that static charge in the air. So as a positive and negative pole breaks up the water or the water vapor and positive hydrogen and negative oxygen, which forms a hydroxyl on the surface of the contaminant. And when it forms that hydroxyl, it takes hydrogen, causing free radical damage to that contaminant, sterilizes it, it's mold, bacteria, viruses, and then reverse back to water, and the cycle repeats. So you don't have any ozone production, you don't have any static charge in the air, you don't have any of those byproducts. And in fact, most of the time, the negative ionizer is kind of a weak output of ions because you'll have, maybe one or two stainless steel needles. In our bipolar ionizer, we use carbon brushes, so it looks like a paintbrush. So each bristle of that brush has another point to produce ions. So you could have 100 bristles in an eighth of an inch area. So you're producing an abundance of ions. So it's actually much more effective than normal ionization. Nice. Is that cleared up?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's great information. So thank you so much.